Okay, welcome to part 4 of my Align Trex 500X build progress video. And moving on, I've had to take the landing gear off. I've installed the pinion on the motor and put the motor in, and now I'm going to show the easiest and simplest way I know of getting the gear mesh correct. So what I do is I cut a strip of paper and then I pass that piece of paper in and then just start turning the motor so as the gear goes between the two sets of teeth, the pinion and the main gear. And then once it's in place, what I do then is push the motor down. Push on that. So I push the motor down just to make sure that it's meshing, and I've put thread lock on the two motor retainer screws. And now what I'm going to do is just cinch them up tight. And then I'll turn the motor the opposite direction to get the paper out. And then what you're looking for is just a fraction of play, just the smallest amount. And if I go around and check all around the spur gear, you can just hear that little tapping noise where there's just a little bit of play between the gears. And I just go around and check all the way around the main gear. Sometimes, depending on the quality of the kit, they can be a bit oval, so then in that case what I would tend to do is find the tightest point, but this one is really nice and that's given me a really nice mesh all the way around the main gear to the pinion. So there you go. So as I said, just an ordinary piece of printer paper, and just pull it with the motor in between the pinion and the main gear, push the motor into position, and you can see that it's left the indentations on the paper where they've gone in the mesh of the teeth. And that is how I've always done my helicopters, and I've never had a moment's issue. So it gives you a nice mesh. Okay, and on to the next part. Okay, following on now, after installing the pinion and the motor and getting the pinion meshed, I've moved on to installing the radio gear, the gyro and the ESC. So a bit awkward with the ESC because there's not a fantastic amount of space, so you've either got to have the throttle cable coming out this way, which means it won't reach down to the receiver, or bend the wires under there, but they're okay, you know. It's not jamming, and I've got an extension made to run to the battery, so still should be able to cool the ESC, because the heat sink is not really that covered. Might be a bit awkward to get to the battery release, but there you go, not really any options now. The biggest part of what I've been doing today is running all the servo cables internally. So if I look down there, you can see where they're fixed to the side of the carbon fibre, and the same with the throttle cable, which is running, let's have a look, just along over the other side of the pinion and the gear and tie wrapped to the carbon fibre frame. So I've made sure that obviously it's well away from any mechanical or moving parts. Same with the servo coming out on this side, it's tie wrapped. You can just see it there, and it's tie wrapped and then tucked out the way of the belt and the drive gear. And it does make for a nice tidy install because they come out there. So then I installed the Microbeast Plus, Now, very important, got a lot of cables, because obviously you've got your servo cables go into this side of the Microbeast, and then you've got your wires then that go from there down to the receiver. And always make sure that it's not too tight. I mean, the receiver there obviously is just a standalone receiver, so there's no gyro or anything there. That's all taken place by the Microbeast. So it's held firmly, nice and central, and then obviously just get the wiring as tidy as you can. And then looking at it from this side, so there you can see my coiled rudder servo wire, and this is a satellite receiver. This is quite a big helicopter, so I decided to go with a sort of like standalone telemetry receiver with the two antennas. And what I will do is I'll have one antenna running straight forward, and then one antenna coming from the side 90 degrees to each other, and then with the satellite receiver there I should get good, you know, good signal pretty much whichever way the helicopter is orientated. Then, you know, I should still get signal. Very important, because the frames are carbon fiber. It's just the tip of the antenna wire that you want to make sure that that's well away from any carbon fiber. So I'll have one sticking out like that, and then the other one then just sticking straight forward, so well away from any carbon fiber. I normally run them underneath the carbon fiber plate, and then have the antennas protruding underneath the heli, because if you think you're flying up in the air, then you know the heli's raised, so it's always going to get signal. So there you go, big job routing all the wires. It's taken me quite a few hours, but basically that's all the electrical stuff installed. So I wasn't really following any steps in the instruction manual, so just following, you know, what I wanted, what equipment. This is where it becomes, you know, down to each and individual person. I mean, some people choose to just put a satellite receiver into the Beast X, but this is a big heli and I wouldn't feel safe with it just sort of like relying on just, you know, one antenna. I want you know, it to pick up signal from everywhere. So there you go, personal choice, and you know, it is a time consuming part, but all I need to do now is do my rudder linkage. No blades, I'm not going to put any blades on because I'll be setting the heli up and I won't be connecting the motor yet, and if I do, I'll make sure that there's no blades at all, and I might even set my throttle to just 0,000, so there's no risk of the thing starting up and damaging. Now, I've used this Microbeast before and I need to do a factory reset, so it shouldn't affect the fact that it's got the latest firmware, but I need to do a factory reset. And this is only the third time that I've set up a Microbeast myself, so you know, I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna video. There's some fantastic guides on how to set up the Microbeast Plus on YouTube. I think that I would probably not do it any justice and would just make mistakes, because as I said, it's only the third time that I've done it myself. I'll just carry on doing progress videos and, you know, warning people of like potential problems and what they need to look out for. Okay, back soon. Okay, so following on with the instruction manual, I'm now on step 18, which is installing the horizontal and vertical stabilizer and the tail boom supports and the rudder servo push rod. So I'll crack on with that. I'm not going to fit the blades, I've already said that. So the heli is really close to being mechanically complete now, and then on to the setting up. Okay then, so that just about wraps the build up. Mechanically and electronically everything is installed. I finished off by doing the vertical and the horizontal stabilizers, and then obviously then just fixing the tail linkage. So if you look at the tail blades now, they're working. Obviously nothing is set up lovely and smooth, so taking my time with the build and making sure everything was greased and thread locked. I've put the blades on just to take some photos to wrap up this part 4 of the Trex 500X build. But you know, it's been 4 enjoyable days building, and it does look a very nice heli, and I wish that the setup process was as easy as the build. The one thing I'm not looking forward to is leveling the swash plate and setting 0 stick and going through all the menu settings and the parameter settings in the Microbeast Plus, because it is very time consuming. But there you go, at least she's built and ready for the next stage. So from me and the Align Trex 500X, thank you for watching these 4 videos. Okay, bye.